on the computer.
The Viking experience is now the Viking Raiders. Bobby Roode is now Robert Roode. And it's been a really interesting episode so far of Monday Night Raw, emanating live from Des Moines, Iowa. What is going on out there, world? It's your boy, Tommy on the spot. Thanks so much for checking us out here today on the Monday Night Raw live stream. We'll be with you for the remainder of Monday Night Raw, doing a little commentary of what's going on here for the remainder of the show. The big main event tonight, still to come. Baron Corbin, one-on-one with AJ Styles. Winner goes to Money in the Bank. We also have a variety of other things. It does appear actually that our live chat seems to be turned off, which is kind of frustrating. I don't know what happened. I apologize. Hopefully you guys are still able to watch along here. I don't know if it's because I had set this up earlier today. I knew it was going to be a late night at work, and I knew I probably wouldn't be able to get on unless I had set this up earlier. So it seems like the live chat is off, but hopefully you guys are able to join in here with me and watch along. It is going to be Ricochet going one-on-one with Robert Roode. To catch you guys up, Ricochet is now solo, S-O-L-O. The guy is no longer with Aleister Black. Aleister Black moving over to SmackDown Live. It looks like Aleister Black, Andrade Cien Almas, formerly now obviously just solely Andrade, and Zelina Vega are now all over on SmackDown Live, while Ricochet is still on Raw. So it looks like Ricochet is going to be a single star, as is Aleister Black. I'm okay with this. I think both guys can really excel as a single star. I like the tag team idea, but honestly, having these guys be able to kind of do their own thing, I think is a lot of fun. And I think that both of them can really excel. I think that right now, I mean, I know that a lot of times we like to talk bad about Monday Night Raw. I mean, it's a long show. It's 3 hours. None of us like that. But think about the fact that right now, Roman Reigns is no longer on the show. He's a guy that's been the focal point of Raw for a really long period of time. He's not on the show. Brock Lesnar is no longer the champ, so you don't have to worry about that. The Universal Champion is going to be there every week. Ronda Rousey's no longer on Raw. I liked Ronda, but I know a lot of people didn't. So you have a roster riddled with talent. I mean, you've got Seth Rollins. He's your champ. You've got Samoa Joe, who now came over to Raw. So basically, not only was Aleister Black, Andrade, and Zelina Vega moved over to SmackDown Live, but Aleister Black, in exchange for those guys, Samoa Joe and Cesaro moved over to Raw. So no real update as to what the condition is of Sheamus. Obviously, there's some rumors going around that he had a concussion and that he's injured. So with Sheamus out, it looks like Cesaro is getting a fresh coat of paint and is going to be able to go in there and become a single star. So it's really kind of cool because I think they can do a lot with Cesaro, and I'm ready for him, man. I mean, Cesaro's a guy, he had great matches one-on-one with everyone on the roster back in like 2014 and just seemed primed for that major singles push that never really happened. And I'm excited about the idea of having to see what Cesaro can do on his own. Now, unfortunately, tonight he had a big win, but it was at the expense of Cedric Alexander, who was also making his Monday Night Raw debut. But those guys had a good match. I don't know if it's possible to have a bad match with Cesaro. Cesaro, though, catches Cedric Alexander with the big uppercut for the win, and a good little match. Ended up being about 7 minutes, but I'd say thus far that was a good match. And basically the story of tonight has also been the Money in the Bank, other than the name changes, which we'll get to in a sec. But Money in the Bank, they've announced, basically this started out, Seth Rollins came out. It was very weird, because if you watch the beginning of Raw, Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Renee Young came on and basically said that it was going to end up being a situation where it was going to be, they basically outlined all the matches. They said it was going to be Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio versus AJ Styles, and it was also going to be Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio versus AJ Styles, and then there'd be a second match where it would basically be Drew McIntyre versus The Miz versus Baron Corbin. Winners of those two matches would then move on to a one-on-one match at the end of the night to determine who would go on to face Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank. So hopefully you could follow along with that bouncy ball, so to speak. But what ended up occurring was AJ defeated Rey Mysterio and Samoa Joe. So our AJ Styles, Seth Rollins sort of dream match is still alive for Money in the Bank. And then Baron Corbin defeated Drew McIntyre and The Miz. And they're getting behind Baron Corbin, guys. I don't know that they're getting behind him nearly as much as they're getting behind Lacey Evans right now, but it's close. I mean, Baron Corbin is getting that rocket strapped to him at this point. He's a guy that I think they see a lot in. I think they can see that he is going to be a major heel for them moving forward. It would not surprise me if tonight ends and it's Baron Corbin one-on-one with Seth Rollins for the world title at Money in the Bank. And thank you guys for checking us out. We are Watchalong Wrestling. I am Tommy on the spot. Unfortunately, our live chat seems to be malfunctioning, so I do apologize about that. We'll get that up and running for next week, but I already started the live chat, and then it just popped on, said enabled, then disabled, so sorry about that. Leave your comments about Raw in the comment section. I promise you I will get back to every single one of you guys, and we'll be able to chat about along together and watch along as usual. All systems go next week. Showing a big promo here for SmackDown tomorrow night, Roman Reigns. What will the repercussions be of Roman laying Vince McMahon out with a Superman punch last week? And it looks like they're really moving towards a program between Roman Reigns and Elias for kind of the summer and for really SummerSlam. That'll be kind of interesting to see, as I'm just letting folks know. And now it looks like they're showing kind of highlights from last week where it was Ricochet and Aleister Black getting a win over Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. Obviously, Chad Gable and Bobby Roode are no more as well. Chad Gable was brought over to SmackDown Live with no fanfare. I mean, it was almost as bad. It was even worse, I'd say, than Eric Young and Raw. Because at least with Eric Young, you ended up with a situation where Eric Young got a little graphic. Chad Gable didn't even get a graphic. He got like announced after the show was over that basically that's what they were going to be doing. So, really interesting stuff. And at the end of the day, I think it's a situation where I think a lot of people are excited about what's to come here on Raw, because now you've got a whole bunch of new talent that are now getting single spots. We've been waiting for Bobby Roode's single push on Raw since he came over to Raw, and now we're going to get it. He's got a really cool looking, for those who haven't seen it, he's got a really cool looking kind of a Rick Rude-esque mustache. And here he comes, coming down, got the glorious music still doing the whole Bobby Roode gimmick, but you could tell he looks a little more weaselly than glorious Bobby Roode. And remember that Bobby Roode, as Bobby Roode, glorious Bobby Roode, was somebody that was a major heel for NXT and really took off in NXT and held that world title for a long period of time as the bearer kind of in NXT. It looked like he was destined for a good run on Raw and SmackDown. Hasn't really happened, in my opinion. So let's see where this can go with him now taking this a little more serious, looking a lot like Rick Rude, and having a killer mustache. I mean, that is a mustache for the ages. That's very Magnum TA-like, I'd almost to say, when it comes to that mustache. So very cool, and it'll be interesting to see where they go with Bobby Roode. And I'm hoping this also means the same for Chad Gable. Let's hope Gable gets a bit of a push when he gets over to SmackDown, because I think that Gable is somebody that can be great on his own in a team. This guy's awesome. And not only is he great in the ring, but he's someone, if you remember, as we're getting things going here, Ricochet versus Robert Roode could be a really good match here as they're locking up here and going at it. And I, for one, am excited to see also, though, what happens with Gable. Gable was a guy who, in my opinion, had really good promo ability back when he was in NXT and kind of leading the charge there with Jason Jordan. So I think it'll be interesting to see kind of where they go and where to go from there. So, but it is interesting. I, for one, here am a little excited about the idea that, as I'm just checking here, to see if there is no. Wait, it does seem that there might be a live chat actually there. Yes, there is actually. The live chat is now been restored. Jesse DeVilla says, "Hey, what's going on out there?" Seems like the live chat is back up and running. Glad to hear that, and good to see that going. So, what's up, Jesse? Thanks for joining us in the live chat. Seems like the live chat is back up and going. Earlier, it looked like it wasn't, so I'm not sure if it is even going, but hopefully you guys, if you are watching along, are enjoying our coverage of Monday Night Raw here tonight. Robert Roode and Ricochet. Big match here on Raw. We just had Becky Lynch take on Alicia Fox, and Becky Lynch and Lacey Evans is for sure the program, and they're really going with Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans is somebody that I think they're really getting behind, and they have a lot of hopes for. And I'm interested to see kind of how it goes when it goes to, what happens moving forward with Lacey Evans and how she does when really her big first test here on Raw. I thought she didn't look great in the Rumble, so I'm interested to see in a one-on-one program how she would do as Bobby Roode takes, as Ricochet takes Roode to the floor. And now Ricochet over the top rope, now running off the ropes and senton, but catches himself on the top rope. Roode going for a big clothesline, but Ricochet jumps over. Side moonsault to the back. Onto the floor. Going to be real interesting to see how it goes as they go to commercial break here. And obviously, Bobby Roode is not the only name change that we have tonight. The Viking Experience, which was the big story coming out of last week's Raw, is no more. Viking Experience is gone. The Viking Experience, the former War Raiders, are now being known as the Viking Raiders. So I guess they heard that people were not happy with the Viking Experience name. They also weren't thrilled about War, though, so it seems like they've just gotten rid of the War Raiders. Somebody had made a really good point saying that they didn't really understand why there was such a big deal with War when Ember Moon has War in her name. So I'm not 100% sure what the deal is. I'm sure it has to do with licensing and the deals with Mattel and the fact that they're going to be on Fox. It just isn't a good idea, I guess, to have War there. The Viking Experience, though, is not gone entirely. It seems like the finish of the Viking Raiders is now being referred to as the Viking Experience. So, hey, can't win them all. It's not like the name's going to be gone, but it is good to go there. I am going to throw a test out there just to see in the live chat if it will work from another account there. And it is actually going to be from our Disney 101 page. If you guys are into Disney, and obviously it's a huge week, I will promote this page there. That is my side project, the other project I do. It's a Disney page. We do all things Disney. Obviously, it's Avengers Endgame week. We put up a really cool preview episode for the week for the Avengers Endgame. We had one of our buddies come on. I do a show every week with my friend Steve. And this week we had one of our other buddies go on who's like a Marvel aficionado and a Marvel enthusiast. So go out of your way to check that out. I'll throw the link in the description when all things are done here today. So hopefully the live chat's open. I can't see it on my end over on the Watchalong Wrestling page, but hopefully everything is working and is good to go. So we shall see, and hopefully we'll be good to go from there. So, but we are here for the remainder of the night here on Monday Night Raw, the big main event tonight. It is going to be Baron Corbin, rather, going one-on-one with AJ Styles. I'm hoping, man. AJ Styles and Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. Give me that match, and I will get my way over to Money in the Bank for that one, because that'll be a fun match. You go and you put that in there with a couple of the Money in the Bank matches, and that could really be something, in my opinion, that you can kind of really get behind and get excited to go and check out. So I, for one, am hoping that's what we get tonight, but I have a bad feeling it's going to be Corbin and Seth Rollins. And I don't hate Corbin as much as half the world does. I think Corbin is a super solid heel in a lot of what he does, but he's just someone I'd much prefer to see AJ Styles and Seth Rollins. That's dream level type match right there. I'd be ready for that, and that'll be a lot of fun to kind of check out. So we'll see. And then it's interesting to see, because this really is kind of the first episode of a brand new era here, the Seth Rollins era, and really cool they're in Iowa. I don't know if they planned that out, but really the first episode where it's like Seth is the guy. They're in Iowa, his backyard. I mean, Seth still calls Davenport, Iowa home to this day. He has his wrestling school there. He has his coffee shop there. So everything kind of goes hand in hand with what he's trying to do as living in Iowa. And here they are tonight in Des Moines, Iowa. So lots going on as Ricochet is crotched on the top rope. They're showing that from a commercial break. And Robert Roode working over the neck of Ricochet. I will say he looks a little more like a Robert Roode, does he not? Like, I feel like he was Robert Roode in TNA. So I feel like this isn't that bad of a transition. And if it means that he's going to be that smarmy heel that we got to know and love in NXT, I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for him to be somebody who can be challenging Seth Rollins for that Universal Championship before all said and done. And I think it would be a lot of fun to kind of check out. So who knows? But I definitely think it could be something to kind of think about and kind of take it from there. So I guess we'll see. And Ricochet now kind of working his way back up, trying to get to the kind of trying to get the crowd into it as well as they go at it. I'm assuming that's going to be our only matches for the night. It does appear that the chat has been restored, and so if you guys are there live, you can indeed go ahead and check us out in the live chat, which is awesome, and I'm really glad that that's back up and going because it's great to hear what you guys have to say in that live chat. I apologize that it was not working for the beginning of this vlog here. Love talking with you guys about the final night of Raw. If you guys didn't get a chance yet, last night I did a live commentary watch-along reaction to The Shield's Final Chapter, the special that aired on the WWE Network yesterday. You guys can go and take a look at that, and it was a really decent special, but I felt like it was the law of diminishing returns. Felt like this was the 15th final stand for the Shield. I think we had Shield's final stand, Shield's final chapter. Next, it'll be Shield's final wish. But at the same time, it was. I thought the special itself was cool. It was cool to come from a perspective of seeing a house show broadcast live on the network. Anything that's different, I'm totally into. And I thought that was I thought it was fun. I thought it was really cool. Ricochet now getting back up to his feet as Bobby Roode jumps to the back of Ricochet, down to the small of his back. This is a tough call because not only is this the first match here for Bobby Roode under his new moniker of Robert Roode, but it's also the first match for Ricochet now, obviously, as a single because he and Aleister Black seem to not be anymore. So you would almost hate to see him take the loss on this one. But somebody has to, which is unfortunate. It's kind of the same similar problem they had with Cesaro. It's like here they're promoting a brand new Cesaro, but at the same time, Cesaro was not. It was a situation where Cesaro, yeah, he was making his return, but Cedric Alexander was making his debut, so it was tough to see Alexander take that defeat. Even though I thought it was great to see Cesaro at the same time look good, kind of as a singles competitor, as Ricochet with a nice snap Hurricane Rana, taking Robert Roode down. Now Ricochet out of one corner here, charging at Roode and bouncing out to the outside there. Taking Robert Roode's head to the turnbuckle, kicking the turnbuckle back as Roode falls back to down in the center of the ring. Ricochet lining him up and waiting for Roode to get up, and big flying clothesline off the top there. Standing shooting star press. And a kick out by Robert Roode. Now Ricochet looking over at Roode and now picking up Roode on his shoulders. Roode, though, getting it down behind him and picking him up for, it looks like a German suplex, but Ricochet is able to bounce out of that and elbow Roode to the back of the head. Now Ricochet is working over, it's like he's working over Roode, but Roode off the ropes. Caught here by Ricochet for a near fall, but no. Small package did not get it. Spine buster by Roode with authority on that one. That one looked good. And able to get kick out as well. You're watching along here with me. I am Tommy on the spot. Thanks so much for checking us out here on Watchalong Wrestling. We will be with you until the end of the hour for the final little bit here of all things Monday Night Raw. And hopefully you guys are enjoying everything going on here as now Bobby Roode is calling for the glorious and big kick to the midsection, looking for the DDT, but Ricochet goes out, spins around, picks Roode up on his shoulders, and got him for like a spinning stunner right into the knee. But Roode able to kick out. This has turned into a solid little match here. These guys are doing their thing. Now Ricochet climbing up to the top. And now is he going to be able to get him with his finish? 6:30, but no! Roode gets out, throws Ricochet face first into the middle turnbuckle. And now Ricochet, Robert Roode rather, stalking Ricochet. Glorious DDT, and holy smokes! Ricochet onto the top of his head. Wow! Robert Roode with a pin, but big victory for Roode, which is very cool to see kind of in his new reincarnation here. But That being said, go check out this glorious DDT. Ricochet took it on the tippy top of his head and rolled through. Really good stuff. Good little match there. That developed into something pretty good. Good showcase, though, for Roode. And now, of course, there'll be people that maybe rightfully so are a little worried about Ricochet here on Raw. But it's just one match. At the end of the day, they had to reboot Bobby Roode, and hopefully this means that Ricochet will be able to be that guy to still get a push on Raw and won't get lost to the shuffle. Similarly, unfortunately, to kind of how Ali has been recently. Obviously, I feel like ever since Ali got injured and Kofi took his place and Kofi Mania took off, I feel like Mustafa Ali has kind of lost a little luster in his push. And I hate to see that happen to Ricochet because both guys are super talented. Bobby Roode with a big win, and now looks like they're going to commercial break. And I do love the porn mustache works really well for Robert Roode. Firefly Funhouse. What on earth? This. Oh my God. What in the world? This is Bray Wyatt on like the set of like Blue's Clues in a sweater vest. What in the world are they doing? Holy crap. Bray Wyatt. Oh, okay. Is he a magician? What is this? So he is now a puppet show host, a kid show host. What are they doing? This is bizarre. It's weird. Not sure this is going to get over at all. Oh, man, this is... I mean, we'll see if it's just that he's completely lost his mind. Thank you so much. My wife here, help me out. Get me some more. I am just, I don't even know what I'm seeing right now. He's talking about it. What is going on right now? Bray Wyatt is talking about how he doesn't want to become the pathetic slob loser. And he's now taking a chainsaw to Bray Wyatt. Follow the buzzards, Bray Wyatt. Oh, man, this is... I don't know what this is. This is bizarre. At least there's a hint of really strange. But wow. Wow, this is bizarre stuff here, guys. This is like Bray Wyatt in front of like a studio somewhere. It's like as if they've got a creepy song. It's called Firefly Funhouse. I have absolutely no idea what I just saw. Crowd is booing it. Thank God AJ Styles is coming out. Oh my, what on earth? That's something you see, and if you're in the live arena, you're just like, what did I just see? Like you can't even get into the next match because of what just happened. My God, think about the fact that this Bray Wyatt was like the next big, huge star for WWE going into WrestleMania 30 in 2014. He was the guy that I feel like people could have gotten behind, and instead now it's just, I don't know what they've done. I mean, if it's a situation where Bray Wyatt is going to actually be eventually tortured enough to go back to that old character? Maybe. But wow, this really, I mean, I understand the idea of a new era of Raw, but this is some weird stuff going on here. Interesting, I guess, and wait and see. Let's just hope AJ Styles hits a phenomenal forearm on Baron Corbin as we go to commercial break. I'm sure it's not our last commercial break. Wow, man. What a bizarre, unreal. Very, very weird. All right, so let's reset here. Bray Wyatt has just returned. They just showed, and obviously if you've been paying attention to these little, kind of these creepy little deals, basically it's a situation where they've been having these vignettes playing that have really kind of been promoting some sort of puppets, some sort of buzzards. It's been clearly related to Bray Wyatt because of the fact that even when the puppet shows up on the screen, you got that little deal, and they switched quickly over and went to black. So, and you saw things like rocking chairs, masks, different things like that. So you figured it was Bray Wyatt. And there were rumors that they were really redoing his character and giving him something else to kind of get into. But I don't think any of us could have thought that he'd be returning as freaking Steve from Blue's Clues. I mean, this is like the weirdest thing ever, and definitely bizarre. But hey, it's different, and I guess if we're all going to talk about something being different, it is what it is, right? So that's Bray Wyatt. Also on the show this today, we found out that the War Raiders are being repackaged as the Viking Raiders. So they are no longer the Viking Experience, which was last week's deal, and everyone was so up in arms about that. Viking Raiders, really kind of a weird name. I'm not sure it even works, but Viking Experience is pretty lame. So glad they changed that up. Viking Experience, though, is still the name of the Viking Raiders finish. So it's not entirely gone. So far else on the show, Cesaro, big win for him, kind of in his return. He's now over from SmackDown. Looks like he's going to get a bit of a singles push. No longer, I don't know if the bar is no more. They didn't say anything about Sheamus, but remember that Sheamus came down with spinal stenosis recently. He's a guy that's been banged up for a long period of time and dealing with a variety of injuries. And now there's rumors that he has concussion symptoms, and it seems like he's not going to be really a part of anything right now. And, yeah, so Wyatt, ICV Torchy, Bray Wyatt is back in one of the most bizarre and strange ways you'll ever see. He returned, but he returned almost as I can only describe it as Steve from Blue's Clues, kind of a rechristened Bray Wyatt, hosting almost like a television show, a puppet show for kids, along with the corny music called the Fireflies Funhouse. And you have kind of the crowd clapping and laughing along with him being over the top, corny. Seems like all the voodoo's type is gone, and he's doing magic tricks, and even took a chainsaw to the old Bray Wyatt and got rid of him. So it seems like a brand new Bray Wyatt, but yes, Wyatt is back, but it's interesting to see kind of where they go. And Bray Wyatt also seems to have a new voice. He doesn't do the creepy Bray Wyatt voice anymore. So I don't know what they're going to do with Bray Wyatt moving forward, but certainly a new type of character. I think that, you know, for the Voodoo Master, maybe it was time to move on, but this really feels a little out of left field. Go out of your way to find that stuff. It's very, very bizarre. Hopefully Sheamus will become a free face again. Yeah, no, I know. That Becky Alicia match was tough. It wasn't going well. But yeah, go out of your way at least tomorrow to go on the WWE YouTube and check out some of the stuff that they have there. Also, if you get a chance, Robert Roode also did a really good job. He had a good match there with Ricochet. So Bobby Roode's been rechristened as Robert Roode, rather, has like a as a Ravishing Rick Rude type porn mustache, kind of a Tom Selleck type deal, and a big win for him. So it seems like he's getting a singles push. And I agree, actually, if Sheamus comes on SmackDown as kind of that fella type babyface, maybe that's what we need. Sheamus is super underrated in terms of his acting ability and super underrated in terms of his promos. He's also a funny guy. So I certainly would be on board with the idea of Sheamus being a babyface. They just announced Alexa Bliss will be doing a Moment of Bliss Money in the Bank edition next week. So tonight we're finding out the title picture here. It's either going to be Corbin or AJ Styles. Winner of this match will go on and face Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank for the title. And I'm guessing next week we'll start to learn some of the Money in the Bank participants. I'm not sure if they announced that. If they did, let me know. I was just getting in from work. I had been following along with the show throughout the night, at least the triple threat matches. I thought both were good, and also like the Cesaro and Alexander match. But you got to figure with those two guys, you can't go wrong. So here we go. Corbin getting back in the ring here, coming up against AJ Styles. I'd love to see AJ and Seth at Money in the Bank, and I'm hoping that's the direction they go. But I am thinking that if you've been following along, they've been giving so much here to Corbin. I mean, he's the guy who retired Kurt Angle, and it looks like he wouldn't be surprised to see him get the win here and go against Rollins at Money in the Bank. Yeah, I'm with you on that, yeah. ICV Torchy over in the live chat said, Robert Roode, I think the Glorious gimmick should go. I want the it factor back from TNA, my favorite Roode gimmick. And I agree. Robert Roode in TNA, if they brought that back, would be great. Kind of give him that big renewed focus push. And I agree. The song needs to go because it also gets, if you're going to make him a heel, everyone loves this song. So everyone gets up for that. And good to know also he did let us know no Money in the Bank participants have been announced. So still got a little while away from that. A little under 4 weeks away from Money in the Bank. I'll be away and getting back on Sunday morning. So if I'm able to, I'm going to try to get down there, Money in the Bank, give you guys a little vlog ski over on that. And Baron Corbin gets a ton of heat with his entrance here and everything that they get, announcing him as the former Raw General Manager, announcing him as the man who retired Kurt Angle. I did like earlier, AJ did a promo saying, he might not have been the guy who retired Kurt Angle, but he is the guy who beat up John Cena. Good little throwback there to one of the best feuds. I think potentially AJ's best feud of his time in WWE, going against John Cena when he had the club with him, and then I feel like the club never really recovered from taking that out. So here we go. AJ Styles, Baron Corbin winner, goes on to face Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank for the Universal Championship. And a big chop here from AJ Styles. AJ backing up into the corner, getting his little jog on here. Now, there was also reports, I think, from Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer that AJ was hurt. But it seems like he seems to be okay now, and that's good, especially if he's having two matches. First match went almost 20 minutes, and now for him to be in the ring now and having a second match, you'd figure if he was banged up, anything severe, they wouldn't have had him wrestling twice at least. So good to see AJ seems to be okay and back in there. As Corbin, over the top of Corbin, big drop kick there from AJ. Corbin bounced off the ropes. Big right hand from AJ Styles. Styles hammering Corbin here with rights to the face. A lot of aggression from AJ Styles early here as Corbin is bouncing off the ropes. For those of you just checking us out here, we are Watchalong Wrestling. We're doing a live stream of the remainder of Raw. We did just watch that Insanity with Bray Wyatt. If you guys saw that, let me know what you thought. Quite bizarre, to say the least. Big-time uppercut there from Corbin as AJ Styles jumps over the top rope and gets caught with that uppercut. Now a stomp to AJ from Corbin. And the winner of this match, again, going on to face Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank. My prediction, Baron will beat AJ. He somehow beats Seth at Money in the Bank, but he does it dirty out of nowhere. Drew comes in, cashes in the contract if Drew wins the ladder match. That's from ICB Torchy over in the live chat. I'd love to see that. I always like when they throw the Money in the Bank out there at the end. I thought last year was a good little twist. I was thinking about this earlier when it was built up as Ronda versus Nia Jax as the main event of Money in the Bank. At least I think it was the main event. And then Alexa came in, cashed in, and they were able to pivot and get the belt onto Alexa, setting up Alexa and Ronda for SummerSlam. I thought that was kind of cool. I always like when they keep one for a little while, one of the Money in the Banks, and then one they could drop right there and doing that. And feel like it's been a while since we've had a Money in the Bank holder. Really, I guess Carmella was the last one that kind of held on to that briefcase for a while and teased cashing it in every week. We had that with Strowman, but nothing ever became of his cash-in. So hopefully they get back and give us a unique and something a little different there. As AJ, with a big clothesline, takes Corbin to the outside. Now AJ kind of stalking him out there and looking like he's getting ready to go over the top of his own right, and lands on the apron, though, and is tripped by Corbin, face first onto the apron. Man, every time they go to the outside, I only think it's a matter of time before we get ourselves another commercial break. Feels like we get one every 10 minutes here on Raw. Big whip of Styles over to the timekeepers area there by Corbin as Corbin's coming over towards Styles. Styles, though, with a big kick to Corbin, and now Corbin is down over by the barricade there of the Raw barricade. Yeah, you're 100% right. She couldn't help it. Cashed in by the end of the night. And AJ dropped right onto that barricade. And now we're going over to our final, hopefully, commercial break of the evening. Now, at least kind of the way that Raw's been recently, at least you know where things are coming to a close at 11 o'clock, at least here on the East Coast. So this is going to be your last segment when they get back. And at least we'll have ourselves a winner. Now, I do think there's also a small chance they make it a triple threat. I hope they don't go that route, though. I think you need a one-on-one match. I personally always just preferred a one-on-one match. And for Seth's first defense for the Universal Championship, I think it's best to have it be a big one-on-one type match, at least at Money in the Bank, which has really become kind of the King of the Ring replacement, in my opinion, kind of the fifth big pay-per-view of the year. If they're going to make a big five, I think it would extend out to Money in the Bank. So we'll see. But it's been an interesting Raw. It's been a pretty good one. I was talking about this earlier today on Twitter and you can find me over on Twitter at WatchWrestlePod. Love chatting with you guys about wrestling over there. If you get a chance, check us out. And really good stuff. We enjoy chatting with everyone on there. But I was talking about this earlier that this feels like the first time that in a long time that Raw really feels fresh. You have a lot of really interesting things and a lot of interesting ways you can go with this. And yeah, I know it's a little bit of a bummer that Andrade and Aleister Black went over to SmackDown, but at the same time, now we got back Samoa Joe. We have a secondary title back on Raw, and we also got Cesaro, and it looks like Cesaro's going to get himself his own push. So this really felt like a kind of rebranding, kind of a fresh night here on Raw, at least trying something different with everyone. Some for the better, some for the I don't know yet. They reserve judgment. We'll see. I like Bray Wyatt a lot. I think Bray is really good in the ring. I don't know what to make of this Funhouse character. If anything, it was different. If anything, it was I always like when you see some vignettes. Like, I think it would have been great if they did some vignettes showing the War Raiders, showing where they come from, showing why they're adapting this Viking lifestyle. Maybe show why now Robert Roode is going as Robert Roode instead of Bobby Roode, rather than just a 2-second little entrance kind of interview in the back. Build that up as something that can really be something worthwhile for Bobby Roode and make us be invested in that character change. And at least, if nothing else, you're going to remember this Bray Wyatt Fireflies Funhouse deal. I thought it was so big, I even called my wife in to check it out. She sat here bewildered over at the television. I mean, it was very weird stuff, but nonetheless, good times. Our live chat will be on for the remainder of the show. If you guys also get a chance, yesterday I did a live stream watch along of the entire Shield's Final Chapter special that was on the network. If you get a chance, check that out. Dean Ambrose last night with the company, the Shields last night together, at least this time. We've heard it a couple of times. I'm aware that we had the Shields last stand, the Shields last chapter, and everything to that extent. But it looked like that really was it for the Shield yesterday. And Dean Ambrose moving on, Roman Reigns moving over to SmackDown Live, kind of as the face of SmackDown Live now as SmackDown prepares to move over to Fox. And for the first time, maybe in a real long time, SmackDown has the biggest star in the company. I mean, Roman is the biggest star in the company, whether we love him or not. I mean, Becky and Seth are great, but Roman's been that guy who's main evented 4 WrestleManias. He's the guy that the company has a lot of stake in, and they moved him over to SmackDown, which, you know, is good to see. And I just hope that it doesn't take away from Kofi's run, because I hope Kofi gets an extended run with that world title. I think it's something unique. I think it's something different, and it's certainly something that has been a long time coming. All right, we are back on Monday Night Raw. Final segment here. Baron Corbin versus AJ Styles. Corbin and Styles exchanging right hands. Now Corbin reaching out to pick up AJ. Oh, innovative move there. Drops AJ down face first onto the mat, but only gets a 2 count out of it. Corbin pretty frustrated. If there was ever any, like, kind of a push as to how big of a deal Corbin is seen in WWE, think about the fact that at the end of the WWE Hall of Fame this year, when DX is finished, Triple H went over with the Super Soaker and went directly over to Corbin and no one else. That was a moment there that I feel like, yeah, maybe he was just doing it to be silly, but at the same time, I do think there was a little extra there. 6 people in the Money in the Bank. Oh, sorry. Oh, ladder match contender predictions. So ICV Torchy over in the live chat thinks it's going to be Drew, Lashley, whoever loses this match, Bray Wyatt, Robert Roode, and maybe Cesaro. Hopefully not Strowman. I, too, have go-away heat with Strowman at this point. And I do think they're not sure what to do with him because he was nowhere to be found during that segment. It seems like I think he's going to be out of the picture for a little bit. I think he's going over with Joe. If I had to go for my kind of jogging memory here of the Money in the Bank predictions, remember it's men and women Money in the Bank. So you're probably going to go 3 from Raw, 3 from SmackDown. So you figure maybe you have McIntyre in there with, I guess, the loser of this match, as you said, and then maybe somebody like The Miz. Maybe have The Miz back in there. And then maybe on the SmackDown side of things, you can have it be you can figure Roman's going to be off with Elias. You can kind of have the SmackDown guys be maybe Andrade, maybe Aleister Black, who just went over there, and maybe someone else who's a little more established over on SmackDown. Interesting to see that Shinsuke Nakamura is getting a title match tomorrow. I don't know if it's a title match or he's just involved in the in a match against and a 2 count there by AJ Styles in a match against Kofi Kingston. I've been saying it for a while. I'd love to see Shinsuke get back into the title picture. I think there's missed opportunities there with him. So yeah, if you had that there, you get 3 guys. Also like the idea of Cesaro being involved in the Money in the Bank ladder match as well. Cesaro's great and really innovative in a lot of the stuff he does. Trending, you damn right it's trending. Bray Wyatt after that. I think Bray Wyatt, I think if you're going to get yourself a slow build with this Wyatt character and kind of trying to peel back what the heck it all means. Oh, yeah. I feel like when they had Corbin get destroyed, Strowman get destroyed by Lesnar in Saudi Arabia in the Saudi show, Crown Jewel, was it? That was it. I was like, this is it. It's done. He can never recover from this. Turn him heel and, man, I don't know, revamp the character because I agree. That was the day where they should have just seen what they had. He was a super over guy. Turning him heel, too, was really bizarre and kind of came out of nowhere. They've just done so many weird things with the Strowman character. AJ's down there. Corbin is back up. If you guys are jumping back in here, I know the chat wasn't working earlier. It is working now. So got it back up and going there in the middle of it. So I apologize for the little bit of issues we had in the beginning, but all is well. And now Corbin is getting up, grabbing onto the second rope there. Corbin looks completely out of it here. I mean, it's got to be tough wrestling in dress pants and a button-down, rolled-up sleeve shirt every week. And now Corbin again going up against Styles over into corner now. It looks like he's getting ready to bring Styles in the center of the ring. But Styles ends up rolling him over. It looks like he's getting ready for the calf crusher. Has him down. Corbin is down, center of the ring. Corbin looks like he's going to potentially tap. Styles really pulling back on that calf crusher right now. AJ does have it locked in, really in there, cinching back, but Corbin takes AJ's head, smashing it down to the ring canvas and breaking the hold. For a second, I thought he had him with that, but it was not to be as Corbin gets to the corner and is now starting to help himself up there, and he's out of it, but he's doing whatever he can to kind of lift himself up. Come on, don't give us Corbin and Rollins on the same show as Lacey and Becky. You gotta give us something here. Let's get AJ Styles and Seth Rollins as the Universal Championship at Money in the Bank. Though that also does feel like that could be a great SummerSlam match with a little more build put in. So who knows? But Corbin up to the top rope, middle rope here. Oh, goes off the ropes, but goes throat first on that top rope as AJ sneaks out under the rope. AJ signaling for the phenomenal forearm. Up and got him. Is that it? 2. Got him. AJ Styles with a win. And we're getting AJ Styles for Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship at Money in the Bank. And even though I'm arriving from St. Martin that morning here in New York, my plan is to hit the road and get down to Hartford, Connecticut, I think it's where it's at, for Money in the Bank. That is awesome. What a freaking main event that is. Whatever else, and you got the two ladder matches. Sign me up. That's a show. Just like that, they turned that into a pay-per-view show there with having AJ and Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. Is AJ going to be the face that runs the place here on Raw, the champ that runs the camp on Raw, or is this going to continue to be the Seth Rollins era? Definitely a lot more intrigue in Money in the Bank now. That's awesome, and good to see AJ get the win there. So let's just kind of catch everyone up to speed on all the big changes of the night here as Raw. Oh, wait, doesn't seem like Raw's done just yet. As here comes Rollins. Rollins coming out here as AJ in the center of the ring. Rollins is walking out. Rollins with a Iowa's Own t-shirt. If you're in Iowa, how are you not buying that shirt? That is an awesome shirt for you. You've got the Seth Rollins logo. Not all the time WWE's coming to Iowa. I feel like you got to go there and you got to get that shirt. If you're in the live building, get that shirt. And I'm sure a bunch will be on eBay tonight, which is somewhat disappointing. But hey, it's the nature of the beast. And here we go. Big stare down here. Rollins and AJ, man, they could tear the house down at Money in the Bank. Give them some time. That should could very easily close the show. I always like closing the show with the Money in the Bank, but that could certainly close the show, and you won't hear any complaints from me. What a freaking match that could be. Rollins putting that hand out for AJ Styles. Shake his hand, and AJ goes ahead and does so. So we're getting our big babyface type match, and here we go. Good stuff. I'm ready for it. It should be a good main event, a good match, and honestly thought it was a good Raw. You know, I thought that they did a lot. They tried at least a couple of different things there. Yeah, I'm thinking Wyatt is on Raw. I believe he now is a Raw guy. One would assume, but who knows? Maybe they'll continue the character build tomorrow. ICV Torchy says, let's say Drew, Rowan, Roode, Wyatt, Andrade, and Reigns for Money in the Bank. That could be interesting. Especially we don't know what's going on with Daniel Bryan. I sure hope he's okay. Because I thought Rowan kind of has his sidekick, but it'd be interesting to see where they go with him if Daniel Bryan isn't able to return right away. So for a quick recap of everything going on Raw, if you missed anything, AJ Styles is your new #1 contender. They did 2 triple threats tonight. AJ earlier in the night defeated Rey Mysterio and Samoa Joe to get to the main event. Baron Corbin defeated Drew McIntyre and The Miz. And then at the main event of the night, AJ Styles, the phenomenal forearm, defeating Baron Corbin, middle of the ring, going on to the main event of Money in the Bank against against Seth Rollins. That is set. They continue to build for Lacey Evans going up against Becky Lynch. That looks like that match is happening as well at Money in the Bank. A couple other things to kind of look into. The War Raiders, who obviously were rechristened the Viking Experience, and it's been craziness ever since. Well, we could pump the brakes just a little bit. They are no longer the Viking Experience. They are now rechristened as the Viking Raiders, and the finisher is now the Viking Experience. But the big news, the big thing, Robert Roode, also Bobby Roode, rechristened as Robert Roode. Cesaro defeating Cedric Alexander in Cedric's first match on the Raw brand. So Cesaro getting a bit of a singles push now, it would appear, is the end of the bar. He's now getting a singles push. Ricochet also getting a singles push. Seems to be the end of Ricochet and Aleister Black, as Aleister Black has moved over to SmackDown along with Andrade and Zelina Vega in exchange for the aforementioned Cesaro and Samoa Joe. So Raw gets Samoa Joe, and in getting Samoa Joe also gets the U.S. Championship. So story is that last week that was supposed to happen, but Joe was ill, and so they needed, I guess, some reason to kind of hold that off until this week, and so that's why they decided to bring over Andrade and Aleister Black and then flip them back. But it's kind of just how they do things. Remember the time Triple H moved to SmackDown, and by the next week, he was back on Raw. So Who knows? But the biggest news, probably the biggest thing you're going to hear about all night tonight and all day tomorrow on wrestling Twitter and all over the wrestling social media landscape is going to be this Bray Wyatt character. Bray Wyatt rechristened as kind of like, from what I can only describe as Steve from Blue's Clues, a really corny, over-the-top, no makeup, no voodoo, like your everyday creepy Steve from Blue's Clues is what I can describe him as. You remember Blue's Clues when, we were kids? Steve, was the host of that show, and it looks just like it. He's hosting a show called the Firefly Funnies or the Firefly Funhouse. That's it, Firefly's Funhouse, and really interesting stuff. So Bray Wyatt is back, and Bray is really unique, and Bray is a really creative guy. He created that entire Bray Wyatt character. So if this is something he's really into, let's give it a chance and see how it goes. It's just great to see him back, and at the end of the day, I think they kind of had that run its course with that voodoo character. So who knows where it's going to go. He ended up chopping the cardboard cutout of Bray Wyatt wearing all the voodoo stuff with the hat and the apron and all that, chopped the head right off of it, really to kind of signify that that character's done. And he said something like, I will never be that fat, gross slob ever again. So who knows? And who knows where we're going to go from there. We do not have any Money in the Bank briefcase, any of the Money in the Bank participants, but it seems like that is going to change next week, as it has been announced. Alexa Bliss will be doing a Moment of Bliss on Raw, and it'll be the Money in the Bank edition. And to close out, ICB Torchy, who's joined us all night in live chat, and really appreciate that, says he's hoping for Natalya, Naomi, Carmella, Charlotte, Liv Morgan, and then Sasha or Bayley in the women's Money in the Bank. Interesting to see where they go from with Sasha. I could definitely see Bayley in there, though, as it seems like she is getting a bit of a singles push. So that is going to do it for me tonight, guys. Thanks so much for checking us out here on the live watch-along live stream of Monday Night Raw. Sorry the live chat wasn't working in the beginning of the deal here, but we got it going towards the end of the show and got you guys up to speed. We'll be back with a live stream of the final hour of Raw next week. Check out all the other great content here on Watchalong Wrestling. Subscribe as well. That really does, I'd really appreciate that as well. And until next time, everybody, thanks so much for checking us out. I will throw the piece I mentioned about the Avengers deal that we just did on my Disney channel in the link in the comment section there, in the description rather, so you guys can check that out as well. So it's a big week for comic book fans, Disney fans, and wrestling fans as well. So it's going to be fun. And until next time, everybody, have a great, great week. And keep it locked right here to Watchalong Wrestling for more content. And you never know what else we're going to jump on and talk about. Until next time, I am Tommy on the Spot. Have a great week.